Minecraft is a scary game, and apparently the internet agrees, but I think we tend to overlook some things in the game that are actually much more terrifying than the monsters and the bosses or whatever. Whether there's situations that seem fine in the game, but are quite dangerous and deadly IRL if you think about it, or the implication of the existence of certain mobs that are just unsettling. And in this video, we're gonna delve into that. Getting randomly dropped into one bit of land in a big world, and you cannot locate where you are with your basic 5 senses, that is scary. To add to that, you are getting no guidance, no help, no instructions, nothing. It would be like the light version of the backrooms. Definitely would trigger mesophobia, which is the fear of getting lost. I mean, if you don't know anything about how things go in this world, or the rules basically, how would you survive? Sometimes games set in the apocalypse or whatever, like The Last of Us or whatever, tend to give you a sense of that. For example, how would you know that punching a tree is the first step towards survival in the Minecraft world? Because to be fair, IRL, that does not sound like a wise decision. And how would you know that this game does not support hugs or handshakes? So you can't really act friendly or high-five this guy. And of course, beware of the green penis-looking guy that hides in the grass, because a walking TNT is a normal thing to exist in this game, of course. Try explaining that to a Victorian child. I think what I'm trying to get to is the first frightened concept is that if you don't know, you won't survive. Like, it's like a much more serious equivalent of if you know, you know. Because fundamentally, we humans say shit like, if you know, you know, to kind of like enforce that we belong to a certain group or we have shared interests or whatever, and to kind of isolate some people who basically do not know. But in this situation, not knowing does not make you feel like you don't belong. It's like, it just means that you won't survive. I feel like the fear of not knowing enough to survive is like a valid one, like the piglins in Minecraft, and their gold wearing policy, and the phantoms, and the 3 days no sleep rule. There are ways for you to avoid harm, you just don't know them. Knowledge here is truly power, and that's what scares me about entering any fantasy world, like with one life, isekai style, especially if the world building is like phenomenal and it's huge. Like for example, Elden Ring. If I was randomly teleported into the universe of Elden Ring, it's over. I'm gonna get killed even before I realize where I am on the map. There's so much to know and to do. Like, even if I study beforehand, before I go into the world, it would not be enough. Because practice also matters, and I won't get the luxury of making mistakes because I just would have one life. Okay, let's talk about death and all the ways you could die. Natural death, or for the sake of the example, by poison, food poisoning, freezing, burning, you know, the classics. They are to me natural deaths, okay? Shut up. You're not getting murdered, so it's natural. They are heavily downplayed in Minecraft. Getting poisoned in Minecraft can get you as low as like half a heart in health. A player could hit you once and you were dead. Like, can you imagine dying to a high five IRL because you were poisoned? And like, eating a poisonous potato, which is like the equivalent of food poisoning, it makes you lose health where you're just sitting there. I mean, like, you could avoid it by drinking milk, but if drinking milk from a bucket coming straight out of a cow was the only way to treat poison, like, I'd rather die.
Ew! Dude! What the fuck?
Again, dying in lava? Are you joking? There's a reason people believed hell is hot for centuries. Dying frozen in the snow in the mountains? That is a traumatic, blood-curdling experience. But in Minecraft, I'm like, what is this annoying minor inconvenience? Get me out of here. Oh, you want me to wear these ugly leather boots to avoid death? Nuh-uh. Hey, subscribe if you've gotten this far, or I will find you. Okay, you know me. I love psychological horror. And if you don't know me, then now you know. Honestly, I don't think we discuss enough that skeletons and zombies are like undead mobs, and they have variants. And I know this sounds fucking stupid, but listen. Because that could be our gateway to discussing the theme of mortality in Minecraft. Because if you're gonna be alive in the game, you're gonna have to know what that means. When I see a swamp skeleton, a stray, aka a snow skeleton, and a normal skeleton, I pose some questions like, why are they different? Why isn't there just like a fire skeleton then? Since we're playing with elements. Is it because bones burn in lava and fire? Does that mean that the variety in skeletons means that the way a person dies affects whether they become skeletons or not? Or it might affect the way that they come back in the next life? Because according to a light online research, some Eastern religions such as Hinduism, Buddhism, believe that the circumstances of death and the actions of a person will influence their status and experiences in their next life. For example, if they were to die a peaceful, favorable death and they were like a good person or whatever, their next life would be good. And dying violently or with unresolved karma might result in a not so very good next life, basically. The question is, why aren't these creatures just like dead? Or reincarnated as like people, like normal? Or more specifically, what kind of heinous acts did they commit for them to like stay stuck in this liminal state between life and death? Like, this is lore. This smells like, oh, a curse, you know? And remember how we talked about natural deaths? So this is a bonus for you. Another thing to keep in mind the next time you are in the nether, the withering effect by the wither skeleton. It is basically like a whiff, a lick of death. When it hits you, it sweeps away your health like it's nothing. It's worse than poison, because the pain and the semi-paralysis state you could be in, like, oh my god. Can you imagine being damaged IRL with that? It's like the opposite of that potion that makes you immortal or something. That's it for today. Subscribe for more. And bye, besties. You know what wouldn't be scary though? Hot librarian villagers.